Welcome to the real Ramblers movie talk for fanatics. The real Ramblers movie talk for fanatics. And now your hosts, Bill and Lee Howard.
Hello and welcome to the Real Ramblers. I'm Bill. This is my bro Lee. Can't you save the yawns for after the podcast?
That was my tummy. I'm hungry. That was the mighty Chewbacca.
In case you couldn't tell from that, our topic today is the classic, the much loved and the much discussed Star Wars franchise.
Yeah, this is a two-parter, folks.
Two-parter.
Yeah, two-parter.
It's a two-parter.
You know why? Because there's a lot of Star Wars. There's a lot of
Star Wars.
fighting up in the sky there.
Yeah, it's a lot of Star Wars.
Yeah.
So we got to talk about a lot of Star Wars.
We got to stick to this now the whole rest of the podcast.
Yeah, we're going to...
You know who I like? That is 3PO.
That New Hope is a game changer.
That robot.
It's a game changer.
I don't know what the hell just happened. I blacked out.
Every episode is going to be a different accent. Terribly done.
Oh, I like the prequels. Oh, shit.
Do right.
We're punchy.
All right, so Star Wars, much beloved, of course. We both grew up with it. Our Christmases were pretty much exclusively, our gifts were Star Wars.
Can you imagine how rich we would be if we still had all those goddamn toys?
God.
Oof.
I have some of them, but not the original. Like, I'm not the ones I used to have. They're Reba. But anyway, Star Wars has been a big part of ours and anybody from our generation's lives.
And more. That's what's so great about Star Wars.
Yeah.
Unto each generation.
I just saw a post today on Facebook from Katie Sackhoff, and it was a picture of her and her dad on the set of Mandalorian.
Oh.
And it was his post, and it said, I think it was his post, and it said, imagine being a huge Star Wars fan in 1977, and then you get older, and then you have kids, and then your kid takes you to the set of Star Wars when she's filming a scene with Luke Skywalker.
That's incredible. Like,
and the picture is him sitting at like a console on like,
that's so cool. That's amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah. Star Wars means so much to so many people.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. It's one of those things where it's like, they're not just movies anymore. You know what I mean? Like some things get so big, they just transcend being like a movie.
Yeah. And I mean,
like Air Bud
we have
movies.
Countless childhood memories of, lightsaber training in the backyard or lightsaber training in the garage or in the winter, we would go out and pretend it was Hoth.
Oh, yeah.
With our Star Wars figures. And
that's a tauntaun noise.
That's right. But yeah, it's a huge part of
that was always the
childhood.
tauntaun. Bill would get on my back and be like, I'll see you in hell. And I'd be like, wappa-dong, wappa-dong.
And then Lee would keel over and I'd cut open his belly and then be like, I thought they smelled bad on the outside.
I've healed. It's fine. A cool scar, though.
But yeah, so it was a huge part of our, early years and the formation of our imaginations.
Oh, yeah.
And even as adults, it's still a huge part. I mean, you can walk around my home theater and just like randomly pick out the Star Wars things. Mm-hmm. So it all began, of course, in 1977 with George Lucas's A New Hope. Which at the time was just called
Star Wars. Yeah, Star Wars.
And
so they were like, Massachusetts, it's fucking Star Wars, bro. Or Boston. Yeah.
See, that's why you got to, I'm just going to throw that in. You still haven't watched Wayne yet, right? That series.
I went to watch it and I don't have the streamer it's on.
Son of a.
Yeah.
I thought it was on Amazon Prime now.
No, I don't think so, bro. It's on something else. I don't got anymore, like Apple or something.
Find a way.
I'll do it, bro. But,
Okay, so anyway, New Hope in 1977.
So that's the thing I was going to ask. Like, in our discussion of these, do you want to do it like in release, the order of release? Probably, I think that's instead of chronological. Yeah,
yeah, because I don't know. I think this whole podcast would be weird if we were like, so Force Awakens and then New Hope. What'd you think of New Hope? And then Sith. What'd you think of Sith?
Yeah,
like that would be weird.
Yeah.
So yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Chronological.
I mean, that's not.
Just why'd you even bring this up? It's just a stupid thing to bring
sometimes
up.
People want to. Now I can't stop. Like sometimes, bro. Sometimes people want to start at episode 1. Mark Wahlberg talks about Star Wars.
No, so New Hope, Star Wars. So I was 8 when it came out, and you were
In 77?
Yeah.
One.
Right. So,
12 months old.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Like, and already I was like, bro, these fucking Star Wars movies are wicked. You see that robot guy?
So my biggest childhood memory of this, and this would have been 83 or 84, was when our dad took us to the theaters. And I don't know where the theaters were.
I don't know. It wasn't anywhere close to us. I want to say they were
like Bowmanville or Pickering.
Maybe, yeah.
But I remember it was in like a mall, and they were showing all 3 movies in an afternoon.
Which is like...
And we were just like...
What? No, that doesn't happen anymore. No. You know what I mean? Like it's
so they were showing all 3, and there was across the hall from the theaters was a byway. So our dad...
Byway, for those who don't know, if anyone also is in the States.
It's like a discount.
Yeah, it's like a discount. It's like kind of like
store.
The proto Dollarama.
Yeah.
Or Dollar Tree.
Things weren't $1.
No.
But it was like a discount
bargainy.
Store.
Yeah.
So, and our dad, I mean, just shows what a great dad, because he's not a fan of sitting through 6 hours of movies.
No.
But he took us, and I think 10 minutes into New Hope, he fell asleep, and he woke up at the end of Jedi.
Holy shit, did he sleep for that many hours?
All 3.
Christ.
Or he might have got up in between and like refreshed our drinks and popcorn and then went back to sleep.
Okay.
But
I have
pretty much
no memory of that. I kind of do, but yeah.
So we watched all 3 in that afternoon. It was mind-blowing. And then we went to Byway afterwards, and they had those large format Marvel comic books. Of like Jedi.
Oh, wow.
And we bought them. And I think I bought that and the Superman versus Muhammad Ali.
Dude, that thing is like worth a lot of money now.
Yeah.
A lot of cheddar.
But it might have been a reprint at that point. I don't remember what year. Anyway,
no cheddars.
But yeah, that was a fond Star Wars memory. But geez, you wouldn't have been.
No, I mean,
my 6 or 7.
My earliest memories of like kind of Star Wars stuff probably is like around Jedi stuff. Yeah, Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
And like I've obviously always loved it and stuff, but it's like that's I think because Jedi is like 83, right?
Yeah.
And I was what? Oh God, math. I don't know.
6, 7.
6 in 83. Holy shit. Okay. But that one, I mean, we'll get into like our favorites.
But it's cool that like at that time there was no other way to see them.
No,
so the fact that Dad took us and you got to see the first and second ones, was pretty cool.
Yeah, so good.
So yeah, it was a big thing, and we were hardcore Star Wars.
Oh my God, yeah.
We just loved it. So George Lucas was coming off of American Graffiti, I think, when he did that. And it's fun watching all the documentaries and stuff where everybody told him that like, what a stupid idea. Nobody's going to watch this. And even after filming dailies, I remember there's something in one of the making ofs where he showed it to a bunch of his friends, like Steven Spielberg and Francis Ford Coppola and all those guys that were in their little gang. And it had no effects and no music and whatever. And they were all like, I don't get it. Except Spielberg.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, Spielberg was like, I get it.
Enough to be like,
yeah, he was like, something. I get it. This is going to be something special.
Especially have you ever seen the footage of, because David Prowse like was in the Darth Vader costume? And obviously he said the lines and James Earl Jones thankfully redubbed him. But have you ever seen the clips of just like David Prowse talking? And it's just like, oh man, like you're not imposing or scary at all. You sound like a fucking big tall dork.
But I think it's also because he knew his dialogue wasn't being used.
Yeah. So it's not like he was like acting it. Yeah. But it just makes it funnier to hear like, you're part of the rebel. Because he's British, right? Like he's part of the Rebel Alliance and a liar or whatever. Like it's exactly what he sounded like.
So anyway, it was a game changer when it came out because people were it literally was one of those theatrical experiences where nobody had ever seen anything like it.
No.
Now there was 1968 was 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Right.
The effects in that, to me, in some ways are more mind-blowing than Star Wars.
Okay.
Because you got to think that was 9 years before Star Wars. And even if you watch it now, you can't see flaws in the special effects.
I've seen the movie, of course, but it's been a long time.
Star Wars, when you go back,
before
they remastered them, you would see the little blocks of light around the ships and stuff, you know?
Yeah.
So it's just amazing that Kubrick did that 7 years before.
I mean, he faked the moon landing, so.
That's right. But anyway, aside from that, people weren't expecting that sort of scale of sci-fi and that kind of storytelling.
Yeah, the serial, like the 1940s radio serials.
Yeah, like his big inspirations were like the Flash Gordon serials and stuff like that. It also started off what's now become film tie-in merchandising.
Oh boy.
Which nobody did before Star Wars. And I remember there was even a thing where they were pre-selling a set of figures because they hadn't even made them yet.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And they were like, mail in and get this set of figures. And they haven't even, nothing's been made.
There was nothing in stores. It didn't exist. Yeah.
So that created a new thing. And I've seen interviews with Mark Hamill and Harrison Ford where they were like, we were saying the dialogue and being like, what is this? Like, this dialogue is so not natural and weird and simplistic. And even into the prequels, I remember arguing with people who were like, oh my God, the dialogue's so bad in the Star Wars movies. And I'm like, dude, you're not getting it. Like, it's supposed to be.
Right.
George Lucas always intended them to talk like 1940s serials.
Right.
He didn't want it to be a serious drama.
Yeah.
So that was the goal. And it's funny that now in 2024, people still don't get that.
Right.
But anyway.
It's funny still. I mean, it's been talked about forever, but how like Princess Leia's first scene, how she has a British accent.
Yeah.
And then they're like, don't do that. But we'll just leave it in anyway. Like, only you could be so bold.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, you're fine. don't worry about it.
It is funny. Yeah. It's funny how with George Lucas, he's one of those visionaries where he's like very exacting about certain things, and then other things he's like, I don't care.
That's like I don't. It's funny. I don't have very many notes for the first trilogy.
Yeah,
the original ones, and then because I was reading some stuff about
because they don't matter, right? Who cares? You don't have
well, it's just like, what do you say? They've been talking about, they've been talking about so much.
Yeah.
But like with Ewan McGregor talking about it, and he's just like, because some people say like, the acting is wooden in the prequels and stuff like that, and it's like even Ewan will be like, George is very much like he's an effects guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like if some of the performances were so, he was way more focused on
how it looks.
Like so it's like that, and that's just what it is. What it is. It's fine. It's like, but we'll get to the prequels later.
But to me, that's part of the charm of Star Wars.
Yeah,
I don't think I would have liked the originals or the prequels as much if they had more, like you get more of the natural stuff when you get to like Rogue One and stuff like that. But I don't think it would have worked as well in the Skywalker saga. It's just, it's came to be something I expected out of those movies.
Right.
And for me, it was part of the escapism that it felt different than anything else.
Right.
So I didn't mind that. I know a lot of people.
It's funny with like, because again, I don't have very many notes on the original, but one of the things that's funny, it's so fucking big now. We know these characters so much, but obviously when he made the first Star Wars, he didn't know what it was going to be.
Yeah.
So it's funny when you rewatch A New Hope and Darth Vader is like a real, just like fucking second in command, kind of like the general guys are like, Vader, go do this, and he's like, okay, you know what I mean? He's not like
it was Tarkin was the boss.
Yeah, Tarkin was, then Vader was just kind of like
awesome, by the way.
Yeah, they're like, fucking your devotion to that sad whatever. It's like, your magic stuff is stupid, and even though he crushed him, the other guy's like, Vader, stop it. And Vader's like, yo, okay, you're the boss.
Yeah.
But now it's just like, you do not talk to Darth Vader that way.
The funny thing is that my favorite out of all my Star Wars figures is probably the Tarkin figure.
Oh, really? Nice.
Yeah, because they nailed Peter Cushing's likeness, and I've just always loved his character.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
He was great.
It's just funny that he's like, in that one was more of a like a right-hand man instead of like fucking Darth Vader.
Yeah. That's true. But in general, what do you think of the first movie now?
Oh,
in 2024, looking back.
I mean, I love it. It's one of those things. It's imprinted on my DNA. Some of the remastered stuff I don't mind. Some of it I hate.
Yeah, I'm with the redone Lucas original trilogy. There's maybe a couple things that I'm like, yeah, you could have left that out. I don't care for it. But for the most part, I really like the stuff he did.
Yeah, like obviously any of the effects stuff, I'm totally great with.
Yeah, because I mean, Mos Eisley, even when I was young, I remember being like, oh, they're going to a bustling spaceport. Yeah. And then they get there and there's 7 people.
Yeah, I don't mind adding any of that stuff in. It's such a small thing, but it's like, why would you even change that? Is like when fucking Obi-Wan first shows up.
Yeah.
And like in the original, it's like that weird scream. It's like when it's like, that's why the Sand People are like, fuck this, what was that?
Yeah.
And in the new one, it's literally just like, whoa. Spring break.
I agree with you that shouldn't have been changed.
What the hell was that?
Same with the Greedo shooting thing. It was like, it wasn't necessary to change.
Really unnecessary.
Just let people debate it and leave it the way you filmed it.
It was better
originally.
Story-wise, I mean, everyone fucking knows this. Nobody is like, I'm glad Greedo shot first.
Yeah.
And then adding in that scene with Jabba, because the effects were not great either.
Yeah, but he knew that. He only wanted to add it in because it added, and I like the scene itself.
I like the scene too, but it's just because the effects were like so goofy.
Yeah.
And like when Han walks
Maybe he should
behind,
give them one more pass.
Yeah, give it a go.
Go in one more time. Correct.
But it was a neat scene and stuff like that. Like it's cool. It was cool to see it, but it's like some of the additions I didn't think were necessary. But some of them I
like Han walking over Jabba's tail literally looked like a South Park.
It looked like South Park. Come on, buddy, get off my nuts, Jabba. I'll give you money. Jabba. Han is Canadian, apparently. Relax, buddy.
Cartman would be a great Jabba.
But yeah, it's like I love the original. It's so great. Oh my god, I wish. I know I sent this to you at some point. Viewers, listeners, you can look this up. Somebody remade.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
The fight between Obi-Wan and Darth Vader.
And it's beautiful.
It's incredible.
Yeah. And I really wish it would become canon and they added it in.
Oh my god, yeah, like the lightsaber fight between Obi-Wan and Vader right before Obi-Wan dies. Someone remade it. They refilmed it, scenes or whatever, but it's like kind of seamless. But the lightsaber fighting is on par with like the prequels.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
And it's just, holy fuck, it's incredible.
Really, really well done.
Yeah, it really impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, it's fucking, it's great.
Yeah.
I mean, what else can you say about the original? It's great.
Yeah.
Chewbacca should have got a medal.
Yeah,
that's fine.
I know that is bullshit.
Yeah.
Oh, there was so much anti-Wookiee sentiment at the time.
If you think about it, let's give medals to the white people.
Yeah.
And not to Chewbacca.
Calling them carpets and there's so many.
They were very
there was a lot
anti-Wookiee.
Wookiees are very intelligent. They can't be treated like that.
Super intelligent.
So then we move on to 1980 with the sequel, which at the time, sequels were actually not a big thing.
No.
There'd been The Godfather, but in general, sequels were not a big thing in 1980.
Yep.
So, but of course they had to do a sequel because Star Wars was such a massive worldwide hit.
Yeah.
Many fans still regard Empire Strikes Back as
it's kind of held up there as the best one.
Yeah, quintessential Star Wars movie. There was so many things. One, the merchandising kicked into high gear for Empire.
I just on Facebook Marketplace, I bought the set of those Burger King Empire Strikes Back
glasses. You gotta
stop
spending money on these things, Lee.
That was before. Now I'm broke. And I got them for a really good deal, really, really cheap from this nice old couple. But yeah, you're right. The merchandising was just like goddamn
everywhere. And they did continue that throughout. Like I remember when Phantom Menace came out, it was on like cans of tuna.
Oh my God, literally like, everything they could put. Yeah, like fucking Yoda
toilet
deodorant.
Paper.
Deodorant. Oh my God. See what I just did? Yeah, I said Yoda deodorant.
Yeah, deodorant. That'd be pretty good.
That was off the top of my brain.
Yeah.
Now I'm tired.
So Empire was notably darker than Star Wars. It was notably more serious than Star Wars. It introduced some of the most fan favorite characters ever.
Yeah.
Boba Fett, who really was like very minimal screen time.
It's so crazy,
holy
right?
cow, did people just for some reason go nuts?
He just popped,
Same with Yoda.
Oh, yeah.
Very minimal screen time, but holy cow, people just flipped.
Yep. It just opened up the world so much.
Yeah.
But from like Cloud City, Lando, to Dagobah.
Yeah, Lando, the worlds it opened up to also were pretty crazy because in Star Wars, we didn't really go anywhere aside from in ships.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of it didn't really go to many other planets.
Tatooine and on ships and
Yeah. But in this one, we got to see Bespin, which was amazing.
Oh, I love Cloud City. Yeah.
And
that was one of my favorite toys is the
cloud cars.
Twin
pod cloud cars.
That's it. Thank you.
And then Hoth again was like
the Hoth stuff was
iconic
fucking great.
And people just like I flipped over Hoth.
There was this
Snow Walkers.
I can't remember what Star Wars video game it was because there's been several.
Yeah.
But there was one that was so goddamn good where it's like you were in one of the snow speeders and you had to, and it was so hard to do.
Battleground 1.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought it was even a way earlier one.
There might have been one earlier, but I remember Battleground 1 looked great and you could do that.
Okay. It was, because it wasn't.
You could drive an AT-AT in it.
It wasn't that one then. It was like one of the old, maybe Super Nintendo ones.
Right.
Oh, fuck. It was so good though.
Yeah.
I love all the Hoth stuff.
But Empire for me holds a lot of the most iconic visual things that get stuck in my mind. I mean, Luke confronting his Vader thing.
I wrote that as a kid that scared me.
Yeah.
When he chopped his head off. And
when he went on the trials on Dagobah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was freaky. And then, of course, one of the biggest plot twists in movie history with
Lando being Luke's father.
Lando.
Oh,
What?
Vader. Sorry.
Yeah, Vader. Vader was. That would have been an interesting.
Awesome, yeah.
Wait a minute. Who's
Luke,
the mother?
I'm your father. That's not a very good impression.
That was like a lazy Obi-Wan.
Hello there.
Depressed Obi-Wan. What if Obi-Wan was not a happy guy? But yeah, that was big. And I loved hearing Mark Hamill tell the stories about how George told him that plot twist really early on and he couldn't tell anybody for a year and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah, what an iconic scene and the effects. And I have a book called The Invisible Art. And it's about matte painting artists.
That shit, I can't believe
especially in Star Wars, the matte paintings just melt my brain.
It's
like when the one of the most famous ones was in Jedi when the Imperial shuttle comes in and there's the hundreds of stormtroopers and they're all painted.
It's a painting.
And if you look at the painting, there's no detail. Like the stormtroopers are blots of white. But for some reason in the movie, you're like, oh yeah, those are
because they can kind of superimpose the actual live action parts over it. It's incredible.
Beautiful.
Somebody hand like obviously now it'd just be fucking like click.
Yeah,
computer generated.
Yeah,
it's
just amazing.
How they made those movies is mind blowing.
Yeah. So Empire had so much iconic stuff and iconic imagery, and Luke being trained was great because I think a lot of us that were kids at the time are just like the notion of being an ordinary guy that's being trained to become something greater was like inspiring.
Oh God, yeah.
And,
Luke has always been like maybe my favorite hero.
Yeah,
Luke and Superman, kind of, or just like
he's like an icon of something you strive to be.
Yeah,
while being ordinary at the same time.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
What did you?
My phone just fell off. It's fine.
Lee just dropped his phone. Alert! So yeah, everything about Empire I love, and there's so many scenes that when I came out of the theater, my brain was melted when they go to Bespin and they're betrayed by Lando.
Yeah.
And they go in that room and Darth's there. When the music, like it still makes the hairs on the back of my neck stand up because the music just swells and Chewbacca roars.
Yeah.
And Han fires and Darth deflects
lasers
them
with his hands.
Yeah. And then pulls the gun away from Han. And Boba Fett's just standing there like, yeah, that's right, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that scene, I remember being in the theater and just being like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
There's something about that scene too that also, for whatever reason, stuck out to me as like,
you know what I think it is?
Scary almost as a kid anyway.
I think it was the first scene that Darth Vader seemed scary.
Yeah.
Because in the first movie, he was intimidating.
He's imposing, but he's not like
and mysterious.
Yeah.
But not scary.
Yeah.
And even the scenes leading up to that in Empire, he's like more in charge in Empire. And again, he seems mysterious and intimidating, but not necessarily scary. But in that scene, you were like, okay, he's scary.
Yeah.
And I think that was when
this
kind of the Darth tide changed. Yeah, it was an all white room, so he seemed more.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool. That scene has always stuck with me.
Yeah.
A lot of the Bespin stuff did.
Yeah, it was, maybe it's just because I saw it when I was a kid, but there was a lot of like scariness to it. Like even the whole thing with like Han
C-3PO getting blasted.
Yeah, you just
when
don't
I was
expect
a kid,
that
I was
stuff
like,
as a kid, right? Yeah. But when Han's getting frozen in the carbonite, that chamber and stuff too, with the Ugnaughts, is that what those little guys are called?
Yeah, the Ugnaughts.
It was just like,
see, there's more prejudice every time they see those little guys. Who knows what they're really called? But everybody sees them and goes, "Ugh, it's the knot."
Yeah, ugh, knot. I am. This coat is a knot black. It was just like we never really saw movies where like heroes like lost.
Yeah,
and I think that was the thing. Like, holy shit! Well. What now?
Yeah.
Luke gets his hand chopped off. Fucking, yeah.
So it was awesome.
Yeah.
So then we move on to 1983 with Return of the Jedi. They shifted gears a little, tried to make it a little more family friendly, but for the amount of flack Jedi's got over the years, I don't think it really comes across as too family friendly. Like people complain about the Ewoks. I've never found them annoying. I think
they never bothered me.
I thought they were an interesting plot device and...
when people are like, Ewoks are like kicking the shit out of stormtroopers, it's like, whatever. It's a fucking world with Wookiees.
But look at the way they showed them do it. They did it with ingenuity.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like they beat them in a fist fight.
That would be great. Yeah.
But it was like, it was believable that the Ewoks, and they're in Ewok territory, so they know what they're doing. They're on their home turf.
Bitch. These are my trees.
So I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
And, rigging up the big logs to crush the AT-ST and everything. Like, it was ingenuity that won the battle. But again, Jedi is packed with so many iconic scenes.
Oh man, Jedi is maybe my favorite.
Really?
And it's probably a nostalgia thing.
Yeah.
There's maybe like better as in story and stuff movies than Jedi, but there's just something about Jedi that clicks so hard. Like Luke in the black suit.
That's a huge...
Iconic.
Yeah.
His green lightsaber.
When he first shows
my favorite.
up at Jabba's palace.
And he's like confident and like, holy shit, like that blew my mind as a kid.
Amazing.
You know, the fight on the skiff on, you know, like with the...
amazing.
Here's
when R2 fires the lightsaber over to him.
Oh my God. Like as a kid, it was blowing my goddamn mind.
Yeah. We would actually reenact that in the backyard. You were R2 and I was Luke out on the picnic table.
Yeah.
And you
throw
you throw it to me.
Yeah. And
you were pretty good R2.
I practiced a lot.
Bleep, blop, bloop.
Yeah. My impressions weren't as good back then. Bleep, blop, bing, bong. I'm R2. Did you, now with the special edition stuff, did you like the edition? Like, did you like the original Sarlacc or did you like the one with like the Tremors monster mouth coming out of it?
I like the monster mouth. I didn't like the band in Jabba's palace as much.
I hate that.
Yeah. I like the original one way better.
Way better. The song is even better.
Yeah, it is.
Did you know, I've probably brought this up because like the music.
Why, did you have a problem with the Sarlacc pit?
No, I was fine with it. I was like, okay. I know that's the thing that people didn't like, that like a big mouth came out or like a chopper thing came out.
Yeah.
They're like, they liked it better that it was just the hole that was like the digesty guy, not a creature in it. I'm fine with both. I don't really give it much thought.
All right.
The type of music that band is playing, is called jizz. And I am not fucking kidding. That jazz music.
I remember reading that.
George Lucas is like, we're going to call it jizz.
George,
somebody had to be like, let's call it anything else other than that. Like, George Lucas, come on, guy.
I know.
It sounds like jazz. Yeah, but
he's very rich and doesn't talk to a lot of people.
I guess. But anyway, yeah, the original band was way better. I hate that. I didn't like that CG-ish goofy.
And I didn't
bullshit.
like the new Ewok song at the end.
Same. I like that original.
The original Ewok.
Yub
Nub was way better.
Yub Nub. Way better.
I agree.
So yeah, I agree with that too. Just, I don't know, man. Everything, the scene that still like gives me like goosebumps, the whole fucking Vader Luke fight at the end. And when it's like Luke's really trying so hard not to like, you know, give himself over.
Yeah.
And then Vader like finally realizes like Leia, and he's like, if you won't turn to the dark side, perhaps
maybe she will.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
And like, look, goosebumps right now.
Yeah.
The music, fuck.
Yeah.
And then them like fighting the fucking, and like in front of the window and the camera panning
and the battles going on in space outside the window.
Good. You can't see it.
I can feel it too. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. That's like one of my favorite scenes. And then with Luke, you know, like
wasn't that also with the Emperor going when he had his lightsaber and he's like, take it, strike me down.
Oh yeah,
right?
Yeah. That was like
and you
leading
know
up
Luke
to it.
wants to,
And then the whole thing of like he actually, and that kind of blew my mind as a kid too, that Luke like beat Vader down and then fucking chops his hand off and Vader's like done.
Yeah.
And then Luke like chucks the saber away. He's like, no.
And that's Luke.
That's Luke.
100%.
And I love that. And then fucking, you know, Emperor trying to kill Luke or like killing Luke. And then I didn't like the addition of no when Vader picks up the Emperor. It wasn't needed. And it was so incredible that in the original version, Vader with the music playing and Luke screaming and just the way the camera's going in on Vader and he's just looking like, you know what he's thinking, even though he has a faceless mask, that he's like, fuck, I gotta save my
It was
kid.
Unbelievable.
There's so much about Jedi that just works so great for me.
Yeah. I also love one of the images of Luke that's burned in my brain is in the speeder bike chase, which was awesome. When he falls off and then gets up with his green lightsaber.
Oh my God.
When the speeder's coming at him and chops the end of it off.
The green saber is my favorite saber.
Yeah, the green saber is amazing.
Yeah. Some people are like blue saber's favorite.
See, and another thing that I'm pissed that they never actually edited back in is the shot of him building that lightsaber.
I know. How amazing is that? It was such a small scene too. They could have put it in there.
Yeah. It wouldn't have ruined any pacing or anything, but it would have been so cool.
Oh my God, amazing. Yeah.
So cool.
I love so much about Jedi. Here's another thing that I wanted to ask. What do you prefer so at the end when Luke sees the ghosts of Obi-Wan and Yoda.
Oh yeah, okay.
And Anakin.
Yeah.
Do you prefer old Anakin? Because that's the age he was when he died, or do you prefer the Hayden one?
I don't know. I almost kind of see Force ghosts as like in the Matrix, as the residual self-image, and it's what that person sees themselves as.
Yeah.
So in that case, I think it would probably be young Anakin.
Right.
But then I don't know why Obi-Wan wouldn't. But I mean, if that's it, if the ghost shows up as the image you see yourself as, then that would explain why they're all different.
Yeah, yeah. It's like it's funny because I don't know if I'm fine with both.
Yeah,
in a way, because I
bug
understand because some people got really pissed off by it and stuff.
I know I've seen like paragraphs and paragraphs written by people about.
I really, and it's like I know that we're both like those people aren't fans.
Yeah.
Like the toxic.
Yeah,
because it's really bad. And
I know I hate when any article, like when a new Star Wars thing comes out and it's got like a female lead or something, and then people go nuts.
Shit.
I hate when people write articles about it and say Star Wars fans upset about blah blah blah, and I'm like, no, don't lump us in with them.
Yeah.
Don't say Star Wars fans are upset. A group of fucking idiots are upset.
Yeah,
Star Wars
I think
fans.
The actual technical term is piss babies.
Yeah.
It's there's a lot of it, and it's very rampant.
I think actually the Star Wars term is jizz babies.
Gross. Never say that again. But I mean, that's how babies are made. I guess.
They also like that scene. They like new Star Wars jazz.
Christ. Yuck. I'm gonna make a shirt with that, but in the Star Wars fonts. And I will be thrown out of everywhere. Yeah, I love Jedi. It's hard for me to rank them. I didn't rank all these because it's hard for me because I have ones that are like in my top 3 or 5
overall, but I don't know if I don't know.
It's hard. So yeah, I don't know what else there is to say about Jedi. I love it.
It's great.
Yeah, it's so good for me.
We're not going to talk at all about the holiday special.
No, we don't need to.
No.
There is, like I was saying, there's a documentary right now. I forget what it's called about the making of the holiday special.
Yeah.
And I've seen about half of it so far, and it's great. It's really funny.
Yeah, I really want to see it.
It's really interesting. Yeah.
So 1999. So at this point, it's been
6 weeks since you looked at me.
16 years.
Yeah.
16 years since the last Star Wars movie. And honestly, when I heard it announced that Phantom Menace was coming out, I was like, I didn't think I'd ever see another Star Wars movie.
I remember I wrote in my notes here that like, I mean, back in the day, there was no fucking internet at all. Right. And it's like, there was only ever rumor. There was a magazine called Starlog, which was like a sci-fi magazine. And there was like an article or something or other that was like kind of talking about how Darth Vader became Darth Vader.
Yeah.
And it's like he fell into a volcano. That's what I remember reading, like in a lightsaber fight with Obi-Wan. Yeah. And it's like, that's the most we got.
Yeah.
And it's just like, cool. You just have to, get that image in your head. That's all you're getting.
Yeah.
So the fact that they were like, oh, guess what? There's 3 more coming. We're like, what?
Yeah.
Oh,
and weird. I remember going to see it. I think we all saw it. And I think it was at the Champlain Cinemas in Whitby.
Possibly?
I think so. I think I even remember that it was the first theater on the right.
Wait, what year did it come out?
99.
It's super possible. I think I might have been living in Alberta at that time, but maybe I was home for Christmas. So maybe you weren't
with us.
Either way, yeah.
I know it was a group of us.
Yeah.
But I, clear as day, remember sitting in that theater and when the came up, I was just like instantly 10.
Yeah. Just that first trailer that they brought out was like every generation has a beginning and stuff. And
I couldn't believe I was watching another. Like, it's funny now in 2024 that we're like, everything we dream of, we get.
Yeah, I know, right?
So it's weird.
We're so spoiled now. It's crazy.
We are. So it was weird in 99 to be like, oh my God, I'm about to watch a new Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
It was just blew my mind.
Yep.
So Phantom Menace, and it's funny because for the years following these 3 movies, there was so much bitching. So much.
Yeah.
Oh. And now that we're 9 movies in, there's a genuine love for these 3 movies.
It's fun. It's because the people, like, you know, when those came out, a lot of these people were kids.
Yeah.
And it's like, there's this great, I should have brought an audio clip, but maybe next time, Freddie Prinze Jr. talking about the Star Wars movies.
Yeah.
And it's great, and I totally agree with him.
I think I've seen
Piss babies don't.
Yeah.
And he's like, because Star Wars, like, it's made for kids.
Yeah.
It is. So it's like kids saw the prequels when they came out, and now they're adults. So I think that's why there's an appreciation for them now, which is really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. There was a lot of complaining and stuff like that as the movies went on.
But overall, I love Phantom Menace. The biggest thing for me that I love in it was seeing Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon doing Jedi stuff I had only dreamed of.
Oh yeah,
like jumping.
Because we've never seen Jedi fights like that.
No, like in the original trilogy, you don't really. The most you got to see was Luke doing a front flip
yes.
off a thing, right?
Yeah,
that's pretty much it. Or Darth doing that jump where he kind of flew with his cape. And that was pretty much the only
even the
Jedi.
lightsaber fights were so. But I mean, that's where movie making was at the point.
Yeah.
It was just like an old fashioned sword fight, like fencing.
So when you get to the opening scene of Phantom Menace, when they're going on that envoy mission, the two Jedis.
You're right about one thing, Master. The negotiations were short.
Obi-Wan.
I know, right? Swoon.
But yeah, that first scene when you see them in action, you're just like, shit, they're like doing crazy jumps. And then I almost had a mental breakdown when Qui-Gon put his lightsaber through that door.
Oh my God.
And just started slowly turning it to start melting the door. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. Mind blowing.
Yeah. I was just like, I've always wanted to see somebody do something like that with a lightsaber.
Yeah.
And it was just so cool.
Yeah, with those aliens with the
the deflecting lasers and stuff.
Incredible,
like when all the Rolly robots came in and they were like deflecting all the shots. It was just so cool.
I wrote those aliens with the now kind of uncomfortable racisty sounding voices. Very. But that aside, also and weird force powers were like when they kind of ran away and they like blinked away, and I was like, what the fuck was that?
I don't remember that.
It was really weird. It was like right after the scene with that you talked about. And they were like those Rolly droids came out. Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon. It was literally like they sped away like the Flash, and that never happened again. It was really weird.
Oh, so it was like they had super speed,
like super force speed. But
I kind of remember that.
I was like, whoa, that's weird.
But yeah, and then the introduction of characters like Padme and the pod race sequence.
Oh, still great. Yeah.
Amazing.
Darth Maul, for fuck's sakes.
Yeah,
Darth Maul. Holy shit.
Have you heard the interviews with people talking about that first day on set when they filmed that?
No, I don't know.
There's I think it's Ewan McGregor. Yeah, it's Ewan McGregor who tells the story. And he says when they were filming that scene, nobody had really seen Ray Park in full thing and acting, right? So they said they're filming the scene and he's behind the door.
Right.
So they show up. And he says the door's open and there's Ray Park standing there in that outfit. And he pulls the hood down. And he said everybody on the set was like, oh, that's cool. Like he said everybody was dead silent. And they were all just like, so badass.
Possibly just like the coolest looking villain in Star Wars. Like
and he gave such
Vader,
menace to a few lines.
Oh shit!
Like his face was awesome.
Him like pacing back and forth like a goddamn caged lion. You know, in those
amazing
fucking rooms. Just the fights and also the music, like A Duel of the Fates.
Yeah, Duel
is
of the
like
Fates.
one of the greatest pieces of movie music ever written.
Absolutely. Fucking John Williams.
Oh my God.
John Williams should go down throughout history as the greatest composer, like more than Beethoven, more than...
Yeah, the dog Beethoven? Yes,
and Bach, Sebastian Bach, that rocker.
They toured together. It was weird.
But no, his stuff is literally it's
legendary,
so orchestral and so emotional, and he's just brilliant. He's just brilliant.
It's funny is like the Jar Jar of it. It's like it's silly and stuff, and I get it. But again, it was for kids, so it's like for me, it was just like, it's annoying and goofy, but it's a kids thing, you know. Obviously, the effects were like Lucas loves effects, and it's like especially in this trilogy, it's like
there was a lot of CG environments.
2 is where it started to really kind of bother me because
they don't bother me because I thought they were pretty well done.
So it's like they weren't quite there yet. It was still great, great for what we had seen at that point. But like obviously Ewan is like perfect casting. Like Ewan dude's one of my favorite guys anyway. Liam Neeson was amazing.
Grievous.
Oh, that was the next one.
Oh, that was Clones. That's right.
The Yoda puppet was weird. Like it's weird that they couldn't like make it look like the old Yoda. Like I get that it's an age difference, but it was just weird.
Hard to
Sam Jackson
recapture. Mace Windu. That's one of the things is that Phantom Menace created 2 of the greatest and most beloved Jedis of all time in Mace Windu and Qui-Gon.
Yeah, people love Mace.
Liam Neeson was so good.
Oh yeah.
So
it's amazing how much it sucks that he died so fast. Even same with Maul, but obviously we'll get to Solo later. It's in retrospect, it's a really fun one. There's it was just fun. I liked it.
Well, we're going way over for time, so let's breeze through Clones and Sith. Clones we can breeze through a little faster.
Yeah, it's my least favorite one.
Yeah, and yet it's my least favorite one in overall because of story. There's not as much story, but it's one of my favorite ones to like if I'm flicking channels or something, or I just want to watch something. It's a fun one to pop in because it's the most action heavy,
right?
And it has some great action in it.
Yep.
Some great chase scenes, and the all-out Jedi brawl at the end is
super
fantastic.
Neat. Yeah, it was like fun.
Yeah.
Fine. You know.
Yeah. It wasn't bad by any means, but it was more of just an action fest. There wasn't much substance to it.
Hayden's first. I like that. Like he's getting so much love now, and I think that's really great. Like that Star Wars Celebration, he came out to get interviewed, and there's like thousands of people around him that are chanting his name, and he's like, he almost starts crying.
Yeah,
and it was like really nice.
It always bugged me that people were like, "Oh, he's so whiny," and I'm like, one, that's not him, that's the writer.
Yeah,
and two, it's like that's what the character is intended to be.
Yeah, like I get this, but it's just his character that he's like a little bit creepy at first, and she's even like, "I don't like you looking at me that way." And he's just like, "Okay, my lady, you're so beautiful." It's like you're being a real fucking creeper guy.
Yeah.
And I like that people are like, "Why we even? He's acting this creepy. Why choose him when Obi-Wan is right there?"
I know.
Look at him in that beard. But it was just funny though. But
I thought Hayden redeemed everything in Sith.
Sith is,
Anakin and Sith is brilliant.
Yeah. I mean, there's not a whole lot I even really wrote about that's where the effects, especially what Ewan was talking about, the backgrounds. He's like, most of the time he was by himself.
Yeah.
And it was really hard for him.
Did Clones have the first Yoda fight? It did, right?
Yeah.
Because that fight was badass.
That was insane.
And for me, the best part of that whole movie.
Yeah, that was like...
And in the theater, people lost their minds.
Oh my God, people like totally lost their minds when Yoda
and 100% credit to the digital artist that did it, because on paper, if you would have told me, Yoda's going to fight a full-size dude and he's going to do it by jumping around, you'd be like, it's going to be...
Quadruple somersaults.
It's going to be hilarious. It's going to be comical and hilarious and like a Looney Tunes cartoon.
Yeah.
And it wasn't.
It was amazing.
It was serious and badass, and it made Yoda from a beloved, silly he's puppet. The wise character to being like, no, he's a badass Jedi.
Yeah.
And that was fantastic.
Totally.
And then his second big fight, because that was with Dooku.
Yep.
And then his second one with the Emperor. Is so like great. Legendary.
Yeah.
What a fight in Sith.
Yeah.
Like amazing.
I have such a...
So we'll move to Sith.
I have such an issue with the Jedi Council because
they're
I feel like if they were maybe a little more fucking supportive, like they were so dismissive of Anakin, the Jedi Council a lot is responsible for everything that fucking happened. Because it's like, they're
but go figure. But see, isn't that realistic though?
Yes.
That the people in charge fuck everything up.
It's so true. It's so true. Yeah, absolutely. It happens on Star Trek too. Starfleet fucks a lot of stuff up. Yeah, I mean, like Liam Neeson's like, I brought this child here and I want to train him. Yeah. And they're like, he's too old. And they're like, bitch, he's 6.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy. And they're like, nope.
And he's like, his readings are off the charts. He could be like the thing, the biggest.
And they're like, no. Like, yeah. So it's like, you guys,
And even when Anakin is like, I've done all the stuff you've told me.
Yeah.
And I've gotten to this point, and I'm young, but I want to be on the council. And they're like, nah.
And they even like Obi-Wan wasn't even really super ready to take on a Padawan. And they're like, start training him.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's all the...
And I always thought it was funny. Would everything have happened with Anakin if they just let him be on the council?
Seriously, yeah.
If he just got his way and wanted to
come on, buddy. Yeah. Oh my God, you're fucking. I don't know about the midichlorians thing. I don't know if I love that. You have special blood. If they're like, come on in. Hey, you're a little bit old, but we'll take you in, pal. And if they really encouraged him, then that shit never would have happened. But anyway, so Revenge of the Sith.
The
my
set
favorite.
Pieces in Sith are brilliant.
It's my favorite of the trilogy, the prequels.
Big time.
Yeah. The obviously the fucking lightsaber fights are
just
like,
bonkers.
I remember in the theater just like thinking back to that Starlog. Yeah. Thinking we're seeing it.
I'm seeing
finally.
It. Yeah.
It was just it's amazing.
Yeah.
It was incredible. The fight was, and it's like it made me really emotional.
Yeah.
Like
me too.
Anakin and like Obi-Wan didn't want to do this.
Yeah.
And it just sucks that he was, holy fuck. Also, the scene between the Emperor and Anakin.
During the opera
Plagueis,
thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was one of my, was that in this one? Or the previous? No, it was in Sith.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Sith.
Yeah. It was, yeah.
There's a couple tiny things in Sith I probably would have changed. Like
me too.
when Mace and the other Jedis go to confront the Emperor,
Right.
And then he's just like, and kills like 3 Jedis. And I'm like, come on, they're Jedis. They would have put up a little more of a fight.
I agree. I agree.
They're skilled warriors. And literally they raised their hand and he like,
it was a little, like it's like they had to rush through it or something, you know, like we gotta, how are we
I would have liked to have
Jedis?
seen the Jedis be more Jedi-ish and put up more of a fight.
Yeah.
But yeah, the city chase at the beginning in the cars with that's great.
Okay. Wait, was that the second one?
It was the very beginning of Sith, wasn't it?
I thought that was maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong.
Maybe I'm confusing.
I'm forgetting.
Anyway, wherever that one was, it was a great chase.
Right.
And the environment of the city was cool.
Neat, yeah.
Camino was cool. The water planet where they made the clones.
That was Attack of the Clones.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, the second movie.
We're done. We're on.
What the hell was in the third one then? Why am I thinking this was all early on in the third one?
The third one was, there was like that weird multi-leveled kind of dirt place where Grievous was.
Yeah.
And Obi-Wan was riding that thing and it was like,
the big lizard.
And hello there. That's what that was.
Right.
Fucking, what else was on there? Obviously the Mustafar stuff.
It's so weird.
It's like I'm kind of having memory lapses.
I blend a lot of the story in those two, but but I did love a lot of those set pieces and how they looked.
Yeah.
But I love the darkness and the seriousness, and I loved Anakin's arc.
Yeah.
And the last fight with Anakin and Obi-Wan will always be legendary. And it took so long.
I almost shit my pants in the theaters when, like, Master Skywalker, what do we do?
Oh my God.
And it's like the kid.
Same within the other one when he did all the sand troopers. Or the sand people.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just like, holy fuck. Like, that was the darkest and maybe still one of the darkest things. Yeah. Like, he just killed a bunch of kids.
That shot of him leading the rest of them, and he's got the hood up and his eyes are like
red.
Gold.
Yeah. It's like that shit got so serious and so, like, just unbelievable.
Yeah.
I wish a little bit, like, I didn't love that Padme died because she was sad.
Yeah.
I wish it would have been like maybe Anakin, like fucking, like, because some people are like, if he force choked her and it's like that, you know what I mean? It just made a little bit more, it would have made more sense than just like, oh, what a bummer, I'm dead now. That was the only thing.
But I always kind of took it as like, couldn't you just take it as she just died from childbirth? Like there was complications?
I guess it just seemed more like, even the robots were like, she lost the will to live.
Yeah.
Oomla. Yeah. Or were those weird? Fucking weird things.
But very minor quabbles about Revenge of the Sith.
It's small, but the music is amazing again, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, Hayden was at his best there. Obi-Wan was at his best there. Yeah. It was very tragic. I
think the main thing that came out of that movie was it made icons out of Obi-Wan and Anakin.
Totally.
Like it just made them top tier Star Wars characters.
I also felt like I was going to cry in the theater when they was like, execute Order 66.
Yeah.
And it's like they all turned on the Jedi and stuff. Yeah. I'm like, this is really fucking hard to watch almost. This is sad.
The Order 66 stuff was tough.
Yeah. But it was cool to see them like, here, you take fucking Leia and so like Jimmy Smits, which is great.
And I like to just overlook the strange, like, Jay and I were talking about this, that it's funny that they're like the classic, we have to hide Luke. Where should we take him? Take him back to Darth Vader's home planet and keep his name.
Don't change his name.
Nobody will ever find him.
Yeah, I know,
it's like all they had to do was pick up a Galaxy phone book and be like, Skywalker. Oh,
yeah.
All right, he's back on his home planet.
Yeah. What do you think the odds are?
Yeah.
That was like Smith.
But I mean, whatever. Then. We'll just ignore that stuff.
It is like silly, but
it doesn't matter.
You just gotta kind of.
It was funny. Like Leia's was pretty good. That's a good hiding.
Oh, absolutely. Like you'd never know. Like she has a new last name. It's like given to like a kind of a royal family
it was total
or whatever.
Witness relocation. It was done really well. But
it is funny. Oh boy.
But yeah, Sith is brilliant.
It's so really great.
And it's so dark and
and justice for Hayden.
Yep. So yeah, it's a double episode now, folks. But tune in next week for part 2 and we'll discuss everything else Star Wars.
Yeah. That's where it's gonna get really like there's gonna be a lot to talk about.
Yeah, there's a lot to talk about there. So can you give us an Obi-Wan send-off on this one?
Goodbye there. Anakin, my allegiance was to the Republic, to democracy.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Thank you.
Pretty good. Can you do him saying keep on rambling? Come on, monkey, do it.
Keep on rambling.
What?
I'm Qui-Gon.
What? No. All right. See you next week,
Keep
folks.
on rambling.
Keep on
that's
rambling.
A beetle.
A beetle? Oh boy. Let's cut it off here.
Thanks for listening to The Real Ramblers. Follow us on Instagram at Real Ramblers. That's REEL Ramblers. And you can follow Lee at Lee Howard _art and Bill at JustTheBill1138.